Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Searcy. In this video, we want to talk about responding to test essay questions, responding to discussion board questions, and perhaps even essay questions that you might see in assignments, homework assignments, and even possibly work memo and reports that you might have in your employment. See, one of the interesting things about preparing your assignments for a course is you're also training to prepare for assignments in real life when it comes to work. And that happens. And so one of the things we have to realize is 10-word, 5-word, 3-word answers, even if it is the single most word of importance that you want to relay, the one answer, the one word, doesn't really constitute a critically analyzed, thought-through statement that suggests you're actually a competent communicator. So what we want to do today is talk about the process by which we ought to be thinking in terms of responding to essay questions, to test questions, to discussion board questions, responding to others who post in the discussion board, homework assignments, or even memos for work. The first, know the preferred style of the people that who's actually going to be evaluating your work. Well, in the case of college, we're talking about your professor. Is it MLA? Is it APA? Now, in the communication discipline, we often use APA style formatting, which is different than MLA. MLA, the Modern Language Association, that format and that style is mostly used in English courses. And so in communication courses, we use the American Psychological Association style, which is called APA. One has a cover page and no first page headers. There'll be a header at the top, but not the long list of name and everything else on it. The other one starts right in with your content page, and the header, the full header of your name and everything else is actually on that first page. Know which style that your professor or your employer or your evaluator prefers. Be able to follow that style. All those styles can be found on the internet if you don't have a handbook readily available to you that covers those styles. All right. But the crux of the matter that we want to get to is this. Now, I am not going to tell you that every English professor is going to say, oh, that's perfect. But I am going to tell you, for the most part, for almost every other class that you take, my 5-point structure for responding to these types of questions and discussion board issues, etc., homework assignments, etc., that we've been talking about, will get you through looking like a competent communicator and someone who understands the value of actually expressing complete thoughts to your professor, which is part of critical thinking. Okay, here it is. In 5 sentences. And this usually matches most of the criteria that your professors have. Now, of course, those of you in my classes know that I have a 100-word minimum criteria, that I have a complete sentence criteria, that you must have complete thoughts, and that you must actually respond to the question specifically being asked of you. How can I tell that? Here it is. Number 1. The first sentence should be some sort of paraphrase, meaning in your own words, of the question or the point that you are responding to specifically, especially if you're responding to a statement that was made. So you want to somehow paraphrase the question that was put out, or the statement that you're going to respond to, so that your reader knows what are you addressing specifically. If I never read the question or read the previous response, can I tell what you're responding to, what you're talking about? Because if all you're doing is giving me the second half of a conversation, it's not really a critically thought out response. So the first sentence should always be some sort of paraphrase of what has come before, so that the reader knows what you're responding to specifically. All right, that's number 1, paraphrase. Number 2, you need a statement here that tells us your position and how you are responding. This is otherwise known as a thesis. Or in the case of only 5 points, if it's only 1 sentence per point, here we're talking about a topic sentence. It'll be the second sentence in the paragraph, if you're doing it that way, but that particular sentence is going to be the statement of your position. How are you answering the question? How are you responding to the statement you've made before? So the first one, a paraphrase. The second one, the topic sentence or your position. Okay. Number 3, potentially number 4. In fact, it ought to be at least 2. If it's a paragraph, it ought to be at least 2 sentences. And these should be details that specifically give you support to the statement you just made saying this is your topic sentence and this is my position. So provide us with sentences that determine the details or the proof or the evidence that support your claim in number 2. Okay, 1 paraphrase, 2 topic sentence, 3 and 4 details or evidence. Okay? And then finally, number 5, you should have a concluding statement that kind of tells us what we should think between your statement in number 2, your topic statement, your details, and your concluding statement. How does what you supplied address the paraphrase, the point you're trying to make or address, or the question you're trying to address? This isn't rocket science, but if you boil it down to a very simple formula like this, you will be essentially using college-level grammar, complete sentences, proper word choice, proper spelling, good punctuation. Impress your professors. It's time for you to shine, and you can show that you're a competent college communicator with just those 5 steps, responding to your homework assignments, discussion boards, and whatever else comes your way with in terms of essay questions or short responses. I'm Dr. Mike. Ask me questions as you go. I'll see you in the next video.